Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kat Scrappiness YouTube channel. Today I am sharing this adorable slimline card featuring Lawn Fawn's Let's Go Nuts and other new Lawn Fawn products in the Kat Scrappiness store. I'm starting by showing you this cute car critter Christmas add-on, and a creature was stirring. I used Let's Go Nuts, the mountain border or the stitched mountain borders, and then the Kat Scrappiness Hillside Slimline, the tri-frame Slimline, and lastly this adorable A Cozy Christmas paper collection that's brand new to the Kat Scrappiness shop. This is a slimline collection that is filled with beautiful papers. I'm using the Gina K Designs amalgam ink to stamp out my images onto Neenah Solar White cardstock, the Zig two-way glue pen, and then that liquid applique. The video is going to be just a little bit longer because I did decide to add the coloring in. So if you want to skip ahead and not watch the coloring, you can see how this card was put together. I started by using my newest favorite color combination for animals. I think that this is, I don't know if it's a fall combination. I just happened upon it and I love it. And so I've been using these browns. And which browns are these? Well, let me tell you. I am using E77 as my darkest. That's where I put the shading. So the shading went behind his head, under his arm, where the curve of his leg was, the bottom of his tail, and then I brought in the E74 and blended that out a little bit and filled in the other outline spots. I will bring in E71 as my lightest color, and you'll see that when I do bring that in, that I do still leave some white space. I misspoke. This is not Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is actually Copic Express It paper. That's what I used on this particular project. So I will blend it out, and then I will come back in and re-emphasize with my darkest color, which is that E77, and then I'll blend that out with the E74 and again with the E71, and then I will fill in that white space with that E71 and go over the entire image with my mid-tone, which is E74. I'm only going to show you one of each of the squirrels. As you can see, I did have a mishap on the first squirrel on the left. I do end up going back in and restamping a few more images, including that one, and I will recolor it. I move my markers frequently, and so sometimes when I'm going from a higher elevation to a lower elevation and back up to a higher elevation, that happens to me. Usually I take both ends of my cap off because that does help with elevation changes. Here is the beautiful blue-green combination that I used. I started with my darkest color and I used the BG49. I went on both sides of the tree and underneath each of those where it's overlapping, where the boughs are overlapping, and then I blended that out with my BG45, left a little bit of white space after using my BG32, and again I'm going to repeat the process. And I love this color combination. I think that it went really beautifully with the papers that I used from the Kat Scrappiness Cozy Christmas collection. If you use Slimline dies and you're looking for some beautiful paper at Christmas time, this is one of those packs. It has browns and, well, it's kind of like a brownish gray tone. And then there's reds and teals, which are some of my favorite combinations. So for the holly leaves, which came from a creature was stirring, I used only the BG49 and the BG45 because that is such a small space that it didn't warrant using 3 colors. So where I believe the shadows would be, where the leaves meet together, and where they also are covered meeting with the berries, that's where I'm going to put my darkest color, that BG49, and then I will blend it out with B45. And then we'll move on to that adorable little wagon. For the wagon, I'm going to be using R59, R27, and R24. I'm starting with my R57, and I am putting my shading where I believe the shadows would be. So under the lip of the wagon, over where the wheels would be casting a shadow, and on the left and the right side, I blend that out with the R27 and leave a little bit of white space, and I will come back in with the R24. All of these products are available in the Kat Scrappiness shop. I will leave links in the description box below. All you need to do is click on those links and it will take you right to her store. And I just thought that this was a fantastic Lawn Fawn release. I think that especially fall and Christmas, that they always knock it out of the park. I, up to this point, did not have a whole lot of Lawn Fawn. I had some, but I am a huge fan now, and I am ashamed to say that I bought more than I probably should. But I hope that you head over to my channel. Those links, all of my social media links, will be listed in the description box below. So if you want to check out more of my card making and what I do on my channel, click on those links, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to Kat's channel, please make sure that you do so. If you haven't been over to the Kat Scrappiness Insiders page, that's a great place for you to share your projects that you've made using products that you've purchased at the Kat Scrappiness shop. I'm filling in the holly berries with the R27, and here I cut out the stitched hills, or the stitched mountains, and then I used the tri-frame to cut out both that snow background, so I have a frame left over for another project, and then the plaid paper. I did add double-sided foam tape to the back of the frame because I did want to pop that up. This would make a great shaker card as well. I did not use it as, or I did not create a shaker card, but it would be fabulous. I took some of the brown, and you can see that it does have just a slight undertone of gray, but I did take that brown and use the hillside. Here I did trim that down so that it fit where I wanted it to on that panel without the tops of those hills being hidden underneath the frame. I'm going to attach the hills to this, and then I will take it to my paper trimmer as well, and I believe I showed this part on camera, and I'm just going to trim the bottom of those hillsides, and that will be a nice little place for my squirrels to play. I did use my brother's Scan and Cut to cut out the squirrels, so I left kind of a 1/4 inch, I believe, border around my squirrels. And here is where I'm going to start assembling the card. I do glue that panel directly to my card base, and I believe the card base, I will have it listed in the description box below. I wanted to have a thinner border on the left and right side and a deeper border at the top and the bottom, so you see that it's not even all the way around. And I am going to glue this frame down. Now, I did not press really hard on the foam tape. I wanted to make sure that I was able to adjust it because it does get a little bit wonky sometimes when you put that double-sided foam adhesive on the back. I wanted to make sure that I was able to lift it up and readjust it and get it the way that I wanted it. So here I'm going to just trim off a little bit more on the right side of the panel, and now we're going to start adding our scene. Or actually, I believe I'm going to take that liquid applique, and let me tell you, so the liquid applique I've had for quite some time, and you're going to see me struggle with this. I am going to have to squeeze the heck out of this applique because I am on the last leg. I was praying that I was going to be able to get this through. You see that I'm putting those holly berries in the corners, and I accidentally glue the one on the right the wrong way. It should be facing downward. I do correct that off screen, and in the final pictures you will see that it's placed correctly. You see I don't have one on the upper left hand, and that's because I lost it on my desk somewhere. Do you guys lose things on your desk like I do? Oh my goodness, I am terrible at this. I get the tree a little bit wonky, and I try to straighten it out, and then it goes back, but you'll see in the end picture that I do get that straightened out. I did forget to color in the bottom of the trunk, so I just used the E74 and I colored those trunks in. Now is where I'm going to add that applique. I had a little gunk on there, so I used my Tombow sand eraser and got that off. And see, I'm expecting it to come out really nice, and it's not. No, you're going to see that I'm really going to struggle with this. I'm squeezing it off to the side, and then see, I'm really trying to get it to work down in there, and I do manage to get it going. I do need to get another pen. These are so fun. I thought about making my mountains brown and putting the white caps that come with the dies on it, but I decided that I was just going to make this a full snow mountain. I used to live in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and it was always so beautiful at Christmas time to have the ski mountain just covered in white snow. So I decided to leave these mountains covered in snow. And then that applique, I'm going to heat up my Wagner heat tool for about 30 seconds. Once I have that heated really well, I will bring it to that applique and watch it puff up. See the magic? That's just as magical as embossing, isn't it? You want to make sure that you don't keep the heat gun on that applique. It will turn brown and burn. So be really careful if you decide that you're going to buy something like that. Now we're going to start putting our little squirrels together. I had this scene image in my mind, and I will kind of talk you through what my thought process was. I am going to, there I found that piece of holly. I am going to put the double-sided foam adhesive to the back of each of the squirrels. I cut out as much as I could. Typically, I do it in one full swoop. I put the the double-sided foam tape on the back of all of them, and for some reason I didn't this time. I did them individually. I try to spare you these boring parts of the video, but unfortunately I did them one at a time. So here's the wagon. I did color up the presents using just single colors. So I used for the bows the R59, and then for the presents I used the lightest color, which was the BG32. On the presents I did use a white Signo Uniball gel pen, and I did put polka dots on there so it looks like the paper is patterned. I will start by putting the wagon a little bit lower, and I decide that later on that there's just a little bit too much white space in the back. It may have looked nice if I would have added another tree, but I decided to move him up instead of coloring another tree. So we have our little squirrel that is taking his presents home, and then we have a mama squirrel and a baby squirrel. Now, the mama squirrel in the Let's Go Nuts stamp set actually is holding an acorn. So what I did is I went in and I fussy cut and cut out the acorn, and I've replaced it with a little gingerbread man. So I took the gingerbread man from A Creature Was Stirring, and I put it in his hands, and I think that it's just absolutely adorable. So Mama is sharing the cookie with the baby. Getting all that little foam tape off the back of it. There we go. And then my last little scene is going to be on the right-hand side, and this squirrel is going to be singing. So I did take the notes from the Critter Christmas add-on, and I'm going to stamp those. I actually stamped them in black onyx ink, VersaFine black onyx ink. I know that I can get a really crisp impression, and I don't have to worry about whether or not I need to restamp, because I knew that I was going to be using the stamp block. I also am taking the Sentiment Merry Christmas from the Car Critters Christmas add-on. I will line them up and use this scratch piece of Nina Solar White cardstock, again using the VersaFine black onyx ink. I stamp that out. I take it over to my paper trimmer. I cut it out into a square, and I am going to glue that flat to the top of my card. This will pretty much complete my card. I hope you enjoyed this project. I'm sorry. If you haven't purchased your Lawn Fawn products, please head over to the Kat Scrappiness Shop. Real quick, that little tool that I was using, that is the jewel picker that Kat just recently came out with. I will link that. It is fantastic. If you don't already own one, check that one out, because I think that it's just an awesome product. So this is going to be my card for today. I'll show you one last photo and some close-ups. Here's where I'm moving that squirrel up just a little bit higher with the wagon, and that's going to be it. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.